Back in the basement again today to talk about this bar from Bells of Steel, which is their Hydra 7 Ring bar. I've had it for a couple of weeks. I've been using it in my training. I've bench squatted, deadlifted relatively heavy on it, ready to give you guys my initial feedback and impressions on it. But also, I need to set the table some. So this bar, in my opinion, is geared towards technique and learning and not towards someone who's looking for the best powerlifting bar available. In fact, if you're looking for a really good deal, Bells of Steel has a better bar for you, the Bare Naked Power Bar, which I did a video on years ago, which is still one of the best budget-friendly power bars you can get. Retails for like $220. It's bare steel, has thin competition-style collars, and has good aggressive knurling on it. And it still holds up to this day. Now, this particular bar is also bare steel, which is fitting given the name of the company. It is 29 millimeters, which is nice to see. However, some things are a little bit different about it. Namely, number one, the 7 rings that are on here, where the other powerlifting bars typically just have 2 ring marks, which are powerlifting knurl marks. This one has Olympic ring marks as well. It has a center ring, and it also has these other rings a couple of inches out from the center, which again is more for technique and hand placement. So when you're teaching someone how to lift or where to put their hands as a reference point, these rings can come really in handy. I will say I do like the addition of a center ring here. You usually find these on higher end squat bars and some of the power bars, RIP Kabuki, but good reference point to make sure that you're solid, or when you're helping someone train, giving them a point of reference of where to put their hands for very specific lifts. In addition to that, what you'll also find on this particular bar are thicker collars. So these are very similar to what you might find on a original Texas power bar, very thick, which again, for training purposes, I feel are pretty good, because when you have a wider rack, you don't want the person training to worry about hitting the plates on the uprights, which is a common problem with thin competition style collars. These ones push the weights out a little bit further, which means that you shouldn't ever really hit the rack, no matter if you're lifting in a 47-inch rack like this one or a 49-inch rack like Rogue. That being said, the knurling on here is more on the medium to passive side, which again, from a trainee's perspective, is more ideal. Someone coming in and learning the lifts with hand placement, which I think this bar is really made towards. You don't want something overly aggressive like you'll find on their bare steel power bar, or bare naked power bar, I should say, which is going to chew up their hands and maybe dissuade people from lifting, or they haven't built up the calluses yet in their hands. So again, to me, this is an ideal part to start training someone who maybe isn't sure where to put their hands, or don't want to worry about hitting the rack on uprights for powerlifting. More of a training bar in that regard. This bar itself, as I mentioned, is bare steel. There's 2 options on this bar, however. This one, which you're seeing right here, which retails for $240, which includes free shipping. And another option, which retails for $20 more, or 260 pounds, which has actually some color-coded marks on here based off where the knurling is. So if you can't see where the ring marks are, you don't remember, you could just color code it. You could put something up in your gym or for the trainees to remember, like this color is for this lift or whatever. I think that's pretty sweet overall. So 240 or 260, depending on what you're looking at. And I think this is a really nice training bar overall. That being said, if you're more of a veteran power lifter, you're looking for a secondary power bar or something like that, I don't think this is probably the bar for you. Like I said, to me, this is more of a technique or a learning tool versus something that you're going to use as a daily driver. And even though it does hold up overall for heavy benching, squatting, and deadlifting, I just really don't think that it's the ideal bar, especially from this company, when you can get their bare naked power bar for less, and it'll do a better job at those lifts. I do like the ring marks on here. The bar has held up well here in a climate controlled basement, but if you're in a garage or an area with high humidity where you don't have that kind of temperature control or humidity control specifically, you will see that this bar will rust quite easily, as all bare steel will. It's held up pretty well here. It is kind of patinaed where the knurling is. You can tell it's darker, and when you're watching this right now, even in 4K, you probably can't really discern the difference between the knurling and the knurl marks. I will show you some close-ups. The knurling isn't overly deep, so again, that doesn't help the knurl really stick out more as far as the marks go. But when you're up close and putting your hands on it, again, it's good based off of feel. So as a reminder, you have powerlifting, you have weightlifting, you have a center knurl. You also have these ones, which are probably about 4 inches outside of where the knurl starts. I find these are ideal if you're teaching someone where maybe to do a close grip style bench press, or even if they're doing like conventional deadlifting, it's a good reminder, maybe, hey, try to keep your hands in between the neural patterns here. And that's what, again, this bar is really geared for. So if you're looking for a bar that you can put in a gym for maybe a novice lifter and you want to help them learn, this could be a great bar to use. If you're an experienced lifter, there are probably better bars out there if you're looking for a secondary or even a primary bar, especially if you're looking within the Bells of Steel library. If you have other questions on this that I didn't answer, let me know in the comment section below. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.